Alright, y'all. I know this is a little bit weird, but I decided to take a different approach with this video. If you've seen my other commentary videos, like the fashion video or the goals video, there was like a lot of editing and stuff like that. But I didn't really take that approach with this one because I didn't want y'all to like miss the message. Don't get it twisted. It's not. There's still fun in it, you know. But it's a bit more serious topic that I find pretty important. So yeah, just gonna be a different style. Let me know if y'all rock with it. Let me know if y'all would rather have more editing and stuff like that in there. Because at the end of the day, there's no point in me trying to spread a message if it falls on deaf ears, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is part one, all right? I decided to split it up into two parts so it can be easier for y'all to watch. So yeah, each one's gonna be about 20 minutes. This one goes over questions 1 through 4. The next one is gonna go through questions 5 through 9, you feel me? Comment down below if you think that there was anything that I got wrong or anything you want me to expand upon or anything like that. But yeah, enjoy the video. Alrighty, y'all, what is up? It is your boy Imanuel, Wright, back at it with another video. You see the title. It is the last day of February, Black History Month. Yeah, what Generation Z thinks about Black history? Let's get into it. So the whole reason this whole thing came about is a combination of two things. Number one is me trying to kind of just discover who I am, kind of find different people, different activities, different ways to express myself so I can become the person who I want to be. And in that process, realizing that I had to go backwards in I guess history to see where I come from, to see how I can implement that history, I mean specifically Black history, into my own life. What was, I guess, the catalyst for that was the second thing, which was at my job, I'm the only Black guy, at least in my my group, right, in my little office area, right? So one of the other people from a different office had came in and was checking in on some other people, and he was like, hey man, I see you're the only Black person here on flight, happy Black History Month, man. And I was like, hey, yo, appreciate it, right? And so we talked a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's really cool that, I can connect with another brother like that. But in my head, I was kind of what is Black history really about? And what does it mean to me, more importantly? So originally, this video was going to be me interviewing all generations, 80 to 70, 60 to 50, 40 to 30. So I was like, let me relax. I can make 10 questions that are based off of things that I want to know, things that I'm interested in about the Black culture, the Black community, Black history. And then I can ask the people that I know out of that. So I asked 3 dudes. There's 4 dude answers or 4 guy answers, including myself. And there is 1 girl who answered. Shout out to everyone who did answer. I really appreciate it. Y'all are the reason that this video was possible. Ideally, it would be 4 girls, 4 dudes. But for the sake of the comparisons that I make in this video, we're going to assume that 3 other people answered in similar ways. So the questions that I asked: number 1, how important is Black history to you? Number 2, what is your favorite and least favorite thing about the Black culture? Number 3, what is the best thing about the Black community? Number 4, what is the number 1 thing we can improve on as a community? Number 5, what are 3 positive and negative quality traits of the common Black man? And I didn't know how to phrase that without it sounding weird, but I just mean the everyday, you see him on the street, that's the person you interact with on the daily. We're not talking about the Michael B. Jordan. We're not talking about the Instagram model. People you see on the daily. You might not interact with them, but the combination of who you interact with and who you see on the daily, what do you think? What quality traits do you see that they share? What are 3 positive and negative qualities of the common Black woman? Same idea there. What celebrity do you best think represents the ideal man, the ideal Black man, and the ideal Black woman, and why? Who is 1 Black person in your life you admire, and why? And number 9, who is 1 non-Black person you admire in your life, and why? I'm just going to basically explore the similarities between different things, the differences, and kind of just what that I feel that expresses about the Black culture, what we can learn from these other people's answers. So for the first question, How important is Black history to you? Black history is more important than I would realize because it provided the possibility to get into creative and innovative fields for work. I know this guy personally, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say that similar answer to everyone else, but right now he probably most likely feels that it's important. Right? Black history is very important. It's not only a time to reflect on the art of perseverance through dedication, but it is also a time to communicate between others. Black performances. I always knew that Black history was important in grade school, but between like middle and high school, it seemed like insignificant. Then like as I grew older and matured, and kind of got like, just older and whenever I realized that like the music that you would listen to is about killing your own people, it just felt like I wanted to separate myself due to like the mainstream culture around it nowadays. But as I realized that I could apply my own history to my own life and experience without changing what actually happened. Like I don't want to change the facts to fit my own paradigm, but just take what I observed from it and apply it to my own situation. I started to like find joy in the fact that this is something that I could study again. I think as I get older, the significance of Black History Month changes. It went from an awkward time of the year when everyone in class would stare or glance at me as a teacher talked about segregation and Jim Crow era to a time where I'm learning about the advancements of Black people. I'm learning about the inventors, the scientists, the musicians, etc. So the main similarity that I saw between all five of us was that like some people didn't say it was explicitly weird, like that was just me and what the woman had in common, but it's more of a as we grow older thing. As we all have matured, we've realized the significance of our heritage, which I think is really cool. It just shows how people can grow, and kind of like the same thing that I realized that it can apply to me, other people have realized that too. Some people like the second answer, I believe it was, he might have had that like strength and belief in the culture off rip, which I feel like is a very great thing, to have that pride in yourself, that pride in who you are and where you came from as off the rip. It gives you a stronger sense of self, maybe a stronger sense of self-confidence and belief in yourself, because you have like a solid belief in the people that came before you. What is your favorite and least favorite thing about the Black culture? Now, I'm going to define culture real quick for y'all, because there is a difference between culture and community. Social institutions, achievements, customs, and arts. Keep that in mind for these answers. My favorite thing is the religious aspect. You feel me? I feel like a strong faith is a good moral compass, unless you like believe that all certain races should die or something like that. But yeah, having a strong moral compass is very you can't have any like negatives with that. On the other side, my least favorite thing is kind of like I said with before, with the rap culture, with the twerking, the all that stuff. I put it down as hood activities. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just not a fan of it. When I was younger, like sophomore in high school, and let's face it, puberty, I was like, yeah, we all about that up in here, but as I got older, I just saw that it was self-destructive, and I want to see my community thrive. I don't want us to be seen as the people where taxi drivers looks at us and they're like, nah, we'll pass. Or if we walk into the bank, we don't get funny looks. That's what I would like it to be. Answer number 2. My favorite thing about the Black culture, the artwork is so unique and recognizable. You look at the dashikis, you look at the masks, even the music. I'm starting to be a fan of the Afro beats. The music is crazy. The way they do like the beats and things like that is insane. Least favorite thing about the culture, the dashiki. It's crazy that I just mentioned the dashiki to justify your answer, bro, and then you just put that as the least favorite thing. Crazy. You know who you are. Most favorite thing about the Black culture is it usually means making something where there is nothing. I mean, you look at the civil rights movement, not being able to, being free but not free, not being able to go to restaurants, not being able to get certain jobs, not being able to ride buses. You know, it's like, oh, you're free, you're not getting whipped. Stevie Wonder, living just enough for the city. Listen to that song. That whole story right there is kind of what he's talking about here. If I'm wrong about any of these things after I ask these people after the video, I'll come and make a correction, just so y'all know. My least favorite thing about the black culture is that it's often looked at as sacred when the culture is the thing to be shared. I love this answer. I'm not gonna lie. It's something that I'm gonna bring up later on in the video. What he means by that is like, some people will be like, oh, white people can't say ain't or sis or period or whatever it is. Cultural diffusion is something that allows us to grow as a people. And as flawed or whatever it is you think America is, the principle or the ideal of being able to share one another's cultures and grow from that and build upon it and be able to create something great is such a great ideal and principle that I believe we should all live by. My favorite thing about the black culture is the closeness that we have to each other and sense of community. My least favorite thing about the black culture is that it can be toxic. I kind of agree. It's the same thing that I made, the observation that I made about the hood culture. You know, it's like this thing where someone can say killed more N-words than the KKK. Shout out NLE Choppa, by the way. I heard that on YouTube and I was like, bro, people are downloading this and bumping this. That's crazy. I would say my favorite thing about black culture is togetherness. Like, we were never far from home. My least favorite thing, I don't know, maybe chitlins. Now, if y'all don't know what chitlins are, they're hold on, let me see if I can pull up a picture. They're basically small intestines. That's what that is right there. All right. Hey, culture is about the art. You feel me? Food is art. You feel me? And I can't be mad at this take right here. I'm gonna be honest with you. You see a lot of people talk about the togetherness. I didn't even list it as mine, but in the beginning of the video, I talked about how I felt connected to that other black man just because of like our race and like just that feeling of togetherness as a culture. However, you look at the oxymoronic, I don't know if that's a word, but the oxymoron of us feeling together as a culture, however celebrating the killing of one another as also part of the culture, as part of the artwork. 2 out of 5 people said that the culture is destructive. That was our own people who said that it was destructive, that it's causing harm and toxicity to our community. So then what do you think other communities who have no like vested interest / like bias think about us? If we're supposed to be looking out for our fellow man and we can't even turn the blind eye, we got to be like, hey bro, this is whack. What do you think the other people say about us behind our backs? Y'all seen the stereotypes. We've all participated in them at one point or another. Well, actually, I'm not going to put y'all under that blanket, but just a question to throw out there. Question number 3. What is the best thing about the black community? Now, community is different from culture. Community is defined as a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. For example, the scientific community, or a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals, right? So whereas culture was more about like the arts, more about like what that group of people like do, the community is more like how the people relate to one another / like their relationship with one another, I think is the best way to put it. Like your family, you can have people who are good at singing in your family. You can have athletes in your family. You can have, I don't know, people who are photographers in your family. That's like, I guess, part of like the family's culture. But the community is more like how you interact, like the family get together, if that makes sense. That's like participating in the community. Hopefully I explained that right. Best thing about the black community, For me, it's our tenacity, and when we show support, we show out. So the how we interact with one another, we support one another. We try to like black owned businesses. That's a big thing. Like, this is a black owned business. Support. We like to see our people doing good. Yada yada. That's also a big thing in the Asian and Hispanic communities. The best thing about the black community: determination, perseverance of individuals, really strong mindset of I only lose if I choose to quit or surrender. As stated before, the best thing in my opinion is a sense of community, and that falls down to how deep the black culture in America runs. So again, like that sense of like togetherness, like we're like one people, it's not like, oh, you over there, that ain't got nothing to do with me type thing. For the most part, you see another black person, you feel me? It's like, that's my guy, that's my girl, brothers and sisters, that's what we call them, man. I said that the best thing is like the pride that we can't be knocked down. Like pride, like we're not gonna let you like beat us down like you did back in the day, essentially. And then again, I've also put the sense of family, connectedness, and community. For the number one thing that we can improve on as a black community, I'll go back to the woman's side again. She stated that as far as she thinks, the improvements would be she would like to see us build up our communities more. One thing we can improve on a community is not being so self-destructive. One thing we can improve on as a community is guiding the youth better, making sure they stay on a straight path that's going to set them up for the future. We need to set better examples and highlight the people who embody those morals. What our community could improve on more is the hard-headedness. We often struggle to truly hear people because we do not want to listen to what we don't like. And it's crazy because that answer kind of coincides with the other answer from the previous question about how the black community the black culture tries to like keep it to ourselves. Like, nah, you can't do this, or nah, you can't say that. When there's also criticism from other races or even our own races. Look at like the Keith Lee when he went to Atlanta and there was bad service and he said something about it. There were people who were even celebrities who agreed with him. I only really saw one person in like particular that was like YouTube and who was like an athlete and whatnot, who was like saying like you can't be doing that to us, bro. Like you can't be degrading the black people like that or whatnot. But it's that thing. It's that weird, again, like oxymoron. We're together. We want to be with our people. However, you can't criticize us. And if you, a black person, criticize me, another black person, some people will call you an Uncle Tom. All right, quick interruption. You're going to see the rest of my answers. I forgot to actually say them while I was recording. But the Uncle Tom thing was part of my second answer. This one right here is my first answer. And long story short, I understand where people are coming from with like, hey, because of racism and because of the systemic effects and how we were limited in such a way, we need to be able to get back on the upper foot and things like that. I haven't looked into this topic a lot, to be honest with you. But for me personally, it just feels like after a certain amount of time, you put yourself from a reasonable point of view to like victim, if that makes sense. And I don't mean this to offend nobody. But me personally, I'm not a victim. You know what I'm saying? And again, no disrespect when I say this. But if there's anything that I feel like life has taught me, is that the world does not owe you nothing. And the world is not going to come and save you. You have your family. Some of you might not, but you have your family, you have your friends, you have people that you can depend on, and those are the exceptions. But for the most part, you got to put on your big boy pants and do it yourself. You feel me? And I can understand if you think like in the back of your head, like, yo, low key, we should get this, but I'm going to keep on doing my thing regardless. That's a different thing. But saying that you can't do anything at all because you know, you don't have these reparations, or you don't have these HBCUs and things like this. I just think that that's just not true. Like, while I was doing research for part two of this, I was looking at a thing by Morgan Freeman, and he was talking about how he personally feels like there's no need to have a whole Black History Month, because where's the White History Month? So he's basically saying, hey, you treat me as a human being that's capable of doing everything that you're capable of doing, and this problem is solved. And I kind of agree with that to a sense, except for like Black people, you know. And again, like I said, I understand there are some things that I have not researched. I understand that these things happened and this might have put us on the back foot, but just like any great fighter, man, with good sound strategy, with good technique, with good practice and determination, you know, he can get the victory. You feel me? So yeah, that's all for that. You saw guiding the youth better and building up communities. And the only question I had was, in what ways do you think that us as Black people can build up the community more? What does that look like? I know LeBron, I think he like funded a school or built a school or something. Dr. Umar, if you don't know who that guy is, that's a character, but y'all have probably seen this meme.
We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
But yeah, he's like a Black activist. Long story short, I haven't watched a lot of his content, to be honest with you, but I know he was supposed to build a school. That never happened. And I'm not even saying we need to pull LeBron and build up a whole school. I'm not even saying that. There's these people that I watched on YouTube who said, you know, just go down to your local like charity, you know, go down to your local homeless shelter, volunteer. You might help 1 or 2 or 3 people or talk to one person. That's building up hope in the community. In whatever way that you can, you know, you just do your little thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing, you know. It was